to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's
Today Around Kansas looks at the founding of the Amish community of Yoder and their Heritage Day celebration, the fourth Saturday in August. Next, learn about Topeka's Ballet Midwest and the upcoming Sleeping Beauty performances. Then enjoy a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with a story about the bone wars that started with the dinosaur bones found in 1867 near Fort Wallace. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Well, good morning. It's Wednesday. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
It's April already.
It is.
Gosh.
And April. And so you have a birthday coming up here too.
I do. Friday. National holiday. Everybody take the day off. We'll celebrate.
So is that one of those spring forwards or spring back?
Honey, I'm maybe springing back for a few years now. I think I'm just going to keep springing back from now on.
Okay, so go on Facebook and wish her a happy birthday.
That would be so sweet of you.
Yeah,
Better yet, send cash. There used to be this preacher on in the South, the Reverend Roosevelt Franklin from Macon, Georgia. And he was on, we could hear him every Sunday morning on some radio station. And he was always talking about send cards and send letters. But don't be sending no postcards. You can't put no money in no postcards.
I love that.
So yeah, send cards and letters. Don't be sending no postcards.
Can't put money in a postcard. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I brought you something.
Uh-oh, okay.
This is for you, Frank.
Okay.
St. Francis. I was visiting with the good folks from St. Francis, Kansas the other day. They have a new motorcycle museum.
In St. Francis.
In St. Francis. So I thought that would be something you would enjoy tooling on out there and checking out. That could be one of your road trips on the bike this spring or summer sometime.
Okay.
A beautiful drive along Highway 36, and yeah, check it out.
So now there are 2 motorcycle museums here in the state.
Ain't that? I tell you what, we're moving on up there, aren't we?
Okay. Well, we'll have to do a story on this.
We will.
So.
We sure will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll put on my GoPro and ride out there.
Would that be cool or what?
That would be cool.
That's some pretty scenery too. Yeah. Heading out to St. Francis, and then you can. Do you get off-road any at all, Frank? Or?
No. I'm too old for that.
If we do the Rickery breaks, we'll have to put the GoPro on somebody else.
Pretty soon I'm going to have 4 wheels, training wheels on. So, okay, this is going to be one of those silly days, folks. So anyway, I know you've been traveling all over the place too.
I've been traveling, yeah. We went to actually, we went to Oklahoma, and Dr. Jake bought a stagecoach. So I believe he and his friend are going to start a stage line between Wallace and Russell Springs.
Really?
They might. Who knows what they might do? They may just give rides on the weekends. Who knows? But sometimes a man just has to have a stagecoach. You know what, Frank?
Okay.
And a team of mules.
A team, okay.
And a surrey. Sometimes a man just needs a surrey too, you know.
With the fringe on top.
It's got fringe on top.
There you go.
It's gorgeous. It's
really?
gorgeous.
Well, see, it belongs in Oklahoma.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, well, that's where we got it. We got it in Oklahoma.
Surrey with the fringe on top.
But now it's in Kansas. Along with lots of other cool stuff. Stay with us.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Lecompton. The name was splashed across newspapers throughout America and Europe. It was debated in the halls of Congress. Lecompton interprets its unique territorial history with 2 museums and other sites. Events throughout the year celebrate history and community.
The 160th anniversary of the Battle of Fort Titus, June 18th, 2 p.m. Reenactors welcome. Call 785-887-6148 for more information.
Spend the day in historic Lecompton, shopping, eating, savoring the rich history.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Okay, I think we've settled down some anyway. So, you've been traveling around.
We went to Yoder.
Yoder?
Yoder. We went to Yoder.
Yoder.
To the big buggy sale in Yoder. So they had a big auction all day long. Buggies, everything you can imagine, wagons, teams of horses, just all kinds of butter churn. You know, so they've got this odd mix of antiques and horse harnesses and stuff. And of course you have the folks in the community that use these every day. And some of them are, you know, the Amish and the Mennonites, and some of them are just, you know, ranchers and folks who are big horse people and like wagons and buggies. And so we were down there, but I have to tell you what impressed me most at this auction. We were there all day long. Most beautiful children I have ever seen. And you've got these, and I took a couple of photographs. I asked them if it was okay, and I took photographs of these kids. And they were just the most well-behaved children I have ever seen in my life. We were there all day long. It was chilly, it was windy, you know, and they're all bundled up, but they're happy. You know, they would run up and give somebody a hug, but they were with their parents or they were playing. You never heard one child whine. You never heard one child cry about it's cold or let's get in out of the air. And then they had, there was a couple of ponies for sale. And so this little girl comes out with her dad and she's got her pony and she's helping with it and everything, and the kids are helping. We're talking hours, all day long. And the same kids were there all day long. It was amazing. So whatever is in the water in Yoder, our kids all need some of it. So.
Get your nanny from Yoder.
Get your nanny from Yoder. Yeah, maybe Yoda was down there. I don't know.
Yoda.
There was some kind of guru. That's right. But let's take a look at this wonderful community. Yoder was founded by Eli M. Yoder, the son of an Amish bishop from Maryland. In the late 1800s, Yoder came to the newly minted state of Kansas to homestead in Reno County, settling in a location about a dozen miles southwest of the city of Hutchinson. Yoder is technically the largest Amish settlement in Kansas, with 3 church districts, giving it an Amish population of roughly 400. Amish at Yoder are among the most progressive when it comes to technology, allowing bulk milk tanks, rototillers, and tractors for field work. Due to the high heat in this region of the country, some field work may even be done in the evening. In 1886, the Missouri Pacific Railroad constructed a track from Hutch to Wichita, which resulted in about 5 acres being split off from the rest of Yoder's farm. Yoder used the separated area to construct a post office and general store, which became the nucleus of the village. During the 1880s, Amish migrants from Shelby County, Illinois, began to arrive and settle in the region, with the new village of Yoder becoming the center of the community. Although Yoder is the center of this community and still maintains a post office, most Amish homes in the settlement are actually listed as haven addresses. Yoder celebrates Heritage Day the 4th Saturday in August, marking its history with a variety of events, including a buggy race in which the Amish take part.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I wanted to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
And we're back. So, great story.
Yeah, yeah. So spring is in the air and people are just flitting around. Flitting around. I'd love to flit around like a ballerina.
Hey, well, there you go. You know, there are ballet companies in Topeka. And they do good stuff. Of course, the Nutcracker around Christmas. And so anyway, Sleeping Beauty is coming up.
At TPAC.
Yes. So make sure you check on that. And I mean, really, you know, anything classical, I don't know, sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to go see something like that. But ballet really is an art. It really is a talent. And we really have some very, very talented people in Topeka, from small children on up through adults. So,
well, Barbara Ebert, Barbara's Conservatory of Dance, that's how Ballet Midwest was started with Barbara. And she has taught, you know, hundreds and thousands of people throughout northeast Kansas to dance over the years. And like you said, it's art, it's all these things, and it's athletics. You know, tremendously fit and in shape people. So whether ballet or dance becomes a vocation or an avocation, it's certainly a worthwhile pursuit of your time. And going to see the ballet, I think it's really good for kids. I think on Saturday, the performance is April 16th and 17th at TPAC. But then on Saturday, they're doing something, they're adding a shortened version for kids. It's like My First Ballet or something, and that's to get kids involved. So by all means, you know, kids don't have all the preconceived notions like you're talking about. A lot of us, you know, tend to think that the ballet or the symphony maybe a little too hoity-toity until you go and experience it and you realize those things were created for the masses. You know, they're created for everybody. And getting kids in there early so that they can see that and be exposed to it is really important. And a lot of them will develop a lifelong love and appreciation for it.
So now I get to do the story. Well, let's take a look.
Ballet Midwest presents 2 classical performances each year, one in the spring and Nutcracker during the Christmas season. The spring performance is Sleeping Beauty, the perfect introduction to classical ballet and the perfect fix for the faithful fan. The production is a nearly full-length classical ballet like is staged in New York, Paris, Moscow, and other ballet centers around the world, which makes it a must-see for arts enthusiasts and a chance for everyone to see one of ballet's most famous works. Even better, the ballet version includes many of your favorite storybook characters such as Snow White and her dwarfs, City and County Mouse, Puss in Boots with the White Cat, the 12 Dancing Princesses, and Little Red Riding Hood with that pesky wolf. We even throw in a bluebird and his princess. This is no kids recital. Come cheer on local dancers who are talented, and they mostly dance the same classic choreography as professional dancers.
It's time, the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo, April 6th, 7th, and 8th in Great Bend, Kansas. The Peterson Farm Brothers are going to be there Friday the 8th. You don't want to miss that. Sponsored by American State Bank. Stock dog demos all 3 days. Free admission, free parking, beer garden. Find all your livestock needs here. Corporate sponsors American Hat Company, Great Bend Co-op. Go to starexpos.net for more information. That's the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo, April 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
March is the month to help your lawn for early green up and crabgrass and weed prevention through August. Fertilome for all seasons has the best formula of any box store competitors. It has the highest percentage of crabgrass preventer. It's the only fertilizer containing the necessary micronutrients for the darkest green lawn. Come see us at Jackson's.
Visit Jackson's for great advice on how to grow the greenest lawn in your neighborhood.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
So many families take these big family trips where the kids all pile into the car, mom and dad drive, and they get out of the driveway before the kids say, "Are we there yet?" Well, there's also the issue of coming home to the ranch. This poem I wrote, based on a true story, it's titled, "My Vocation Affects My Vacation," or The Trip. We were all driving home from a nice family trip, dog-tired but happy, with smiles on our lips. We'd been driving for hours on the big highway, and we thankfully turned onto the ranch driveway. We were all looking forward to the end of the ride, when suddenly there were signs of concern that I spied. It's not what I wanted for my welcome back, because alongside the road I could see some cow tracks, and by the road was manure as I looked about, and I knew what it meant. The cows had got out. What a lousy welcome home to receive. While I was trying to get home, the cows were trying to leave. Instead of relaxing to unpack and unwind, we had all the cows to hurry and find. The horses were still in the corral at least, so we saddled up quickly to track down the beasts. It was easy to follow the tracks on their way to the neighbor's where they'd got into his hay. They'd tromped through his garden, got into his shed, and ate the alfalfa stored there to be fed. So we rounded them up and drove them back home and into a pen where they'd no longer roam. Then we rode around the perimeter fence till we found the spot where those maverick cows went. A tree had blown down on the wire while we're gone and let the cows loose so that they could go on. So we gathered our tools and got the fence mended and went home thankful this long day had ended. I complained to my wife about this turn of events, from vacation to having to chase cows and fix fence. I said, "It's unfair the cows caused this extra work to do." She just smiled and said, "I guess the cows wanted a trip too." Happy trails.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
And we're back again. Yes, we've straightened up now, so.
See if we can maintain it. We're such a poor example to young people all over the place, you know it? All teachers around the place telling the kids to, behave. Act like Deb and Frank. That's what they're saying everywhere. School kids are being told, act like Deb and Frank. And we got a lot to live up to, Frank.
Yes.
I'm doing the best I can.
Uh-huh. So you've been spending a lot of time way out west in Kansas.
I love it. Yeah. I love the high plains. I just can't... I don't know what it is, but from the first time I saw the high plains of Kansas and eastern Colorado, I fell in love with it like 20 years ago. I love it.
A lot of it, I think, is because there are people that, especially from the east, that have grown up in a city, and they come to some place like Kansas, but then they get out west, where it's wide open. Wide open. And you can... if you're up, you can see for a very long way, and the sky is spectacular.
The sky is spectacular, and the night sky is absolutely incredible. And I walked outside just a few nights ago, And it was one of those nights where every single star, and you can't believe how many more million stars there are on the high plains than there are, say, in Topeka, you know, because of the light, obviously, and because of the altitude and the wide open space. And honestly, it was overwhelming. It was just like, not sure I had experienced anything like it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love the high plains. I love the altitude, I love the wind, I love it. I love the history. And of course, Fort Wallace, I fell in love with Fort Wallace first time I was there years ago, and I have been blessed to be back many times. And Fort Wallace has a fantastic expansion going on. And I was out over spring break, and they had volunteers coming in and doing some painting. They are actually creating facades inside their addition of the town of Wallace, the old Ruby Doe Hotel, the shops that were there. And the next stage is creating the facades of Fort Wallace itself. But in the midst of this is the casting of a 42-foot plesiosaur that was dug up out there by the post surgeon in 1867. And that's already hanging. So even though the expansion is underway, that casting is already up. And that's what I want to talk about in this segment today. It's
great.
Spectacular.
Hey,
it's awesome.
Let's take a look.
In the second half of the 19th century, important archaeological finds were made in the sediments of the American Cretaceous Western Interior Seaway, the Niobrara Chalk. One fossil in particular marked the start of the bone wars between the rival paleontologist Edward Drinker Cope and Charles Marsh. In 1867, physician Theophilus Turner, near Fort Wallace in Kansas, uncovered a plesiosaur skeleton, which he donated to Cope. Cope attempted to reconstruct the animal on the assumption that the longer extremity of the vertebral column was the tail, the shorter one the neck. He soon noticed that the skeleton taking shape under his hands had some very special qualities. The neck vertebrae had chevrons, and with the tail vertebrae, the joint surfaces were oriented back to front. Excited, Cope concluded to have discovered an entirely new group of reptiles, which would be distinguished by reverse vertebrae and a lack of hind limbs, the tail providing the main propulsion. After having published a description of this animal, followed by an illustration in a textbook about reptiles and amphibians, Cope invited Marsh and Joseph Leidy to admire his new Elasmosaurus platyirus. Having listened to Cope's interpretation for a while, Marsh suggested that a simpler explanation of the strange build would be that Cope had reversed the vertebral column relative to the body as a whole. In other words, Cope had gotten it backwards. The head was on the wrong end. Cope reacted indignantly, and Leidy silently took the skull and placed it against the presumed last tail vertebra, to which it fitted perfectly. It was, in fact, the first neck vertebra, with still a piece of the rear skull attached to it. Mortified, Cope tried to destroy the entire edition of the textbook, and, when this failed, immediately published an improved edition with a correct illustration, but an identical date of publication. He excused his mistake by claiming that he had been misled by Leidy himself, who, describing another specimen, had also reversed the vertebral column. Marsh later claimed that the affair was the cause of his rivalry with Cope. Quote, "He has since been my bitter enemy." Both Cope and Marsh, in their rivalry, named many plesiosaur genera and species, most of which are today considered invalid. Today, the fossilized remains of this beast are in the holdings of Drexel's Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia, where a casting is suspended over the visitor's desk. A casting also is suspended from the ceiling of the Fort Wallace Museum.
And just like that, we're done again. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
So I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
We'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Under the rainbow, this is where it was.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.